Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and it's another beautiful Friday. Thank you so much for joining in to our episode of Ask the Gals. I'm your gal, and we have some submitted questions for this Friday. If you ever want to submit a question, you can DM me on Instagram at Golden Hour Drip, or you can shoot me an email, goldenhourdrip@gmail.com. Okay, so also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can always comment down below any questions, any advice for the girls who ask the questions, anything extra, all the things. And of course, don't forget, while you're at it, submitting and listening to the episode, be sure to rate and review. It helps the podcast way more than you know. So thank you for listening, and let's get into it. So the first question: Hi gals, I'm struggling to balance my social life, work, and school. What are your tips to manage time better so I can still have fun? I feel like this is the age-old question. Like, how do I balance everything? How do I have as much fun as possible, but also like have enough money to do all the fun things that I want to do? Or like you said, you're in school, so getting your education is so important. Making sure that you have money to pay for college is so important. Having money to live is so important. But if we're just work and no play, it is not fun, right? Like, nobody wants to work all the time. We want to have fun. We want to, experience life to the fullest. We were not put on this planet to just work and sleep and eat and go to bed. Like, all the things. Like, we're meant for so much more. And it can be really, really hard to balance it. We all have experienced this one time or another. And I personally went through my, early adulthood into like high school and everything like that. I was layering on all the things. Like, I was involved in sports. I was involved in clubs. I had, outside obligations from school. I had my friends going into college. Like, I went out for more clubs. I was in a sorority. Like, I had so much campus involvement, and then I was working multiple jobs. Like, it was just it was crazy, and you can quickly become burnt out. Like, none of it can seem fun anymore. Balls are dropping, right? Like, if we're juggling everything. And something that I found that really, really helped was, back then I was a paper planner. Now I've just about completely transitioned to my Google Calendar, but back then I needed to write it down because I also had like assignments for class, and so it was much more conducive to just like write them down. Now into adulthood, like, Google Calendar invites are pretty much the norm. Everybody just like sends an invite. I send invites to my friends. I even send invites to my husband, because like, if we have a family event one weekend, putting it on my calendar and then sending it to his calendar too, so helpful. So neither of us forget. It's both on our calendars. And the automation for like my workout classes go immediately on there. So many services, like my hairdresser, like, it automatically goes on my Google Calendar because of the systems that they've set or put into place for like their services. So in college, it was definitely like I was writing everything down, and that was helping me balance my work and school. Like, I knew if I had a paper due, I could not go out that, evening, or I had to get my paper done before going out that evening, instead of like, oh, my friends asked me to hang out. Well, I don't have anything going on, so I might as well go out. And then like thinking back, oh shoot, like I have a paper due, and trying to rush home, trying to get it completed, or missing the assignment completely. So I think for me, just like detailing everything down is impactful to see how you're spending your time, to do like a little bit of an audit of, okay, like, it looks like I've hung out with my friends every single night this week. I've not spent any time studying, or vice versa, and then trying to balance it in that way. But first, you have to know where your time is going in order to control it, in order to make it work for you, instead of like you like working for the time, right? So to just like lay it all out there. I know there are other apps like the reminders on your phone, or you know, something that you can set in place like alarms to get you where you need to go. But if it is like I'm spending too much time in one area, first you gotta know that, okay, I've been spending a lot of time doing this one thing. And I didn't see you mention like a significant other, but like that adds a whole another wrench in things when you have like a person who you care about and trying to juggle that in. Holidays, like it's a never-ending juggling act. And if you're becoming too overwhelmed, if you feel like you have a lot going on and you don't have any time to yourself, then maybe it's time to like drop a couple activities, or to reduce the amount of time that you're like wasting. Optimizing is going to be like your best friend, and seeing how you can also like kind of double dip. My college campus like job, there was one job where I could sit at a front desk. It was admissions, and I welcomed like the new students, and I gave tours, answered the phone, like really great job. But I was sitting at a desk and there wasn't like that much busy work to be done, so I could study, I could write my term paper or whatever. So if you can find something that's like, you know, helpful, especially if you are in college, a lot of college campus jobs do help in that aspect where you can like study while you work. Or if you're tutoring, like you don't have anybody to tutor, but you're still there, and finding something with the hours that are, you know, going to help benefit you in the best way. Good luck. This is like the hardest thing to do. So props to you. It will get better. And if it doesn't get better, it's time to drop something. And only you know what needs to or can be dropped. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. Okay, question number 2. I've been feeling pressure from my family to settle down and find the one. How do I navigate their expectations but also fall in love on my own timeline? You know, all I have to say is thank goodness we do not live in a time where well, I guess I know there are still arranged marriages, but for like the norm to be like, oh, I'm your father, I've already arranged the marriage, you're getting married at, you know, this time, this place, you have no say, right? Like how much society has evolved. And just coming out of like Women's History Month, I am so happy for the women before me who fought for my rights and fought for, you know, me to have a say, me to have a credit card, me to be able to take out a loan on my own, or to have a bank account, or have a job, or pick when I'm gonna have children or never have children, right? Like we are so lucky to live in a time where we're able to pick the person we want to marry, and to also like marry at all, right? Like we are, and I just have to like sit back and think, how lucky am I, right? And it can be really, really hard to decide when the time is right for you to get married, or like if you want to get married and you just can't find the right partner, like you can feel so stressed out. Like I get it. I would say you can't pick your family, right? Like your family and the expectations that they're putting on you right now, like you have no control of that. You have no control over your mom and your dad and the family around, right? Like you don't get to pick them. You know what you do get to pick? You get to pick your own spouse. You get to pick to like start your family, right? And so picking a husband or picking a wife, like you get to pick it, okay? And so that decision should not be taken lightly. You are essentially picking your child's parent. And that is so impactful, right? And that should not be taken lightly. You have the power to create your entire line. Genetics, personality, disposition, like all the things that go into creating a family. Or maybe you never want to get married. Maybe you don't want to have kids, you don't want to get married, you just want to have a career, you just want to travel the world or do all the things. Not that you have to pick one over the other, but it can be really hard to stay true to yourself and stay true to the things that you want when it feels like everybody around you is just like on Facebook, like announcing just got engaged, just got married, welcoming our first child, I have this job promotion, my husband is a doctor. Like there's so many things that just like society puts on us as like pressure, and then our parents put on us as pressure, and then we have our grandparents saying, oh, like when are you gonna make me a great grandparent, right? Like all of these like overwhelming just opinions of others. It's so stressful. And I think to feel validated and hey, like you're not alone in this. Everyone experiences some sort of parental pressure, whether it's like my parents want me to do this, or I have the pressure to not be like my parents at all, like if they're not involved in your life. And I heard this the other day, but it was like childhood is like, people think that childhood is like the best part of your life and you're always working to like find your childhood essence, or you know, like chasing after your childhood feeling. And then others say you spend your entire life not chasing after your childhood but trying to like overcome your childhood. So it could be totally different. My advice for you would to smile and nod and do exactly what you want, okay? Or if you're more like a confrontational kind of person, saying, hey, like I would appreciate if you respected my choices at this time. Like putting a stop to it is going to help your like mental like brain so much, to just be like, hey, like I really wish or I hope that you can respect my wishes in this time as I am navigating adulthood, or I am navigating a new career path, or, you know, can we celebrate something that I have achieved, I have accomplished? Like maybe you just got a dog or a new job, or maybe you're just like happy to have picked up a new hobby, or like all of the things, right? So don't feel the pressure, although you're already gonna feel it. Just know that your journey is your journey for a reason, and how it's supposed to play out. Like you're in the exact place and time that you're supposed to be in, because if you weren't supposed to be here, you'd be somewhere else, right? So take it in stride. Everything is already on its way to you. And yeah, just like ask them to respect your feelings and your privacy at this time. That'd be what I'd do. I just smile and nod and do whatever I want, honestly, but good luck to you. Okay. Hi gals, I have a lot of hobbies and interests, but I'm struggling to keep them long term. How do I stay committed and not just accumulate stuff I'm not passionate about? Well, I feel like it's so easy. Like hobbies are something that like a lot of people are focused on right now. Like I feel like it's very trendy to talk about your hobbies and to like post them on social media. Like I'm a huge, what is her name? Oh my gosh, Demi from The Bachelor in Paradise, whatever. Demi has started crocheting, and so like she has been posting about like this hobby of her, like crocheting. Me seeing that could automatically think, oh my gosh, like I love that top that she crocheted. I want to crochet, right? And I could go out and buy crochet tools, and then essentially like do it for a day and then think, oh gosh, like I actually hate crocheting. Like I don't have the time, I don't have the mental capacity, this is not fun. We are so influenced by the people we see on social media, and that's completely fine, right? Like I love social media as much as the next person, but for me, it's okay to accumulate and try new things. We are allowed to be influenced. We are allowed to accumulate things, and if we decide that, hey, it's actually not the hobby I thought it was going to be, feel free to donate it to women's shelters to donate it to, Big Brother, Big Sister. Like, there are so many places who have, you know, children who are, you know, their parents are unable to purchase it, or they, you know, don't have a family, right? Like if they're in foster care, like reach out to the community. If you do have a lot of craft items, like the problem is not purchasing the things, right? The problem is, now what do I do with the things? So see if you have any like friends who would be interested in taking some of your craft supplies. Like, there are so many places who they're needing crafts, right? Like, they're needing those fun things. If you have a bunch of yarn pulls, like even reaching out to a school, like, hey, I have a bunch of glue sticks, or I have a bunch of this craft or that craft, like, can you guys utilize them? So don't hold yourself back from trying to experiment and find what you like, because that's a part of life, right? Like, we are allowed to follow the interest that we have, and if those interests slowly die, like it's not that we took the path, it's what did we learn from that path? What did we learn from picking up crochet for a day or a week? Well, I tried, I didn't like it, maybe I'll like it in the future. Or if you tried diamond painting or painting for real or sewing or any of the crafts that we see on social media, like, it's fun and it gave you something to do. So appreciate the experience and figure out how you can donate the supplies that, if you're worried about clutter, if you're worried about accumulating, figure out a way to find someone who could use those props or use the crafts, okay? Because why should we limit and see ourselves like scrolling on social media and think, oh my gosh, I want to do that? Like, for me, for the longest time, it was like 2 or 3 months. Actually, no, even longer than that. Watching slime videos, I would just think, oh my gosh, that looks so satisfying. Like, I want to play with slime. Like, I want to purchase slime. And I always thought, no, like, that's for the children. And I watched it and was like so mesmerized, loved it. And then I was like, you know what? Like, why not? I'm an adult, I can spend my money. And I played with the slime for multiple months. The slime started getting, you know, it disintegrates, right? Like, it's glue and stuff, and it's exposed to air and whatever. Like, when it was done, I was like, okay, like, the slime is no longer good. I'm gonna throw it away. Have I repurchased slime? No, I haven't. But like, if I want to again, like, I did enjoy it. And so don't hold yourself back from trying new hobbies and trying new things, because that's what life is all about. So thank you all who have submitted questions to our Ask the Gals segment. If you have anything that you would like to be discussed on the on the Golden Hour Drip podcast, go ahead and send it to Ask the Gals. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.